Have you ever thought about how your house affects the planet? As Thoreau said, what's the use of a house if you haven't got a tolerable planet to put it on? This is the story of transforming my house and making a difference. We now pay zero energy bills, we produce more energy than we consume, and we're doing our part to help the planet. I'm a single dad with two amazing daughters, and I've been thinking a lot about what kind of world we're leaving to our children, and my personal responsibility for that world. You've probably heard all the bad news about the climate crisis, melting polar ice caps, rising ocean levels, and bizarre weather. It seems pretty overwhelming sometimes, and maybe that makes you want to tune it out, even though you know it's real. But then there are those moments when you really wish there was something you could do about it. And then you think, what can I do to make a positive difference? That's the question I asked myself a few years ago, and here's what I came up with. I did a bunch of research and learned that our carbon footprint, the amount of carbon pollution a family produces, is the direct result of the food we eat, the stuff we buy, our transportation, and the energy efficiency of our home. Of these four things, improving our home was the most important change we could make to reduce our family's carbon footprint. So I decided I wanted to take our house, a wasteful energy consumer, and turn it into an energy producer. But how? I did some more research and found that it's possible to renovate a home so that it produces more renewable energy than it uses. It's called net positive energy, and it means rethinking the status quo. All this new information and awareness was making my head hurt. It felt like I was waking up for the first time to the reality that I actually had to do something. And then I discovered something really incredible. When I started doing something to help, I actually felt better. As I aligned my actions with my values, the feeling of being overwhelmed flipped into a feeling of strength and empowerment. So let me tell you how we did it. The first thing was to bring together a small project team: Caleb the carpenter, Bill the construction guy, and Mark the energy engineer. Mark and I began by pulling out some paper and starting to sketch. Quickly, the 10 key elements that needed to come together became clear. Roof and plumbing extensions, wall insulation, attic insulation and air sealing, basement insulation, high-performance windows, ventilation, better appliances, better lighting, solar electricity, and solar hot water. Not only were we going to renovate the house, we were turning it into a laboratory for eliminating our home's carbon footprint and increasing our sustainability. We were going to lower our costs and demonstrate how we could live in a way that felt true to our values. We started with some diagnostic testing to see where our house was consuming the most energy. An infrared scan, a way to make invisible energy use more visible, showed us the areas where we needed a lot more insulation, and a blower door test showed us where the big air leaks were. Insulation is like the layers of clothing we wear outside in the wintertime. Air sealing is like putting on a windbreaker over those layers to keep the cold air out. Both are important for optimal comfort. We designed a system that would allow us to install spray foam insulation directly on the outside walls of the house. We called it outsolation. First, we did two things to prepare. We extended out the gable ends of the roof to create an overhang and extended the piping for the water spigots and the gas meter. Then we built wall trusses and attached them directly over the existing siding. Once the trusses were in place, our insulator sprayed closed-cell foam on the outside walls of the house. Insulation performance is measured in R value. The higher the R value, the better the insulation and comfort. The spray foam more than tripled the R value of our walls, from a typical R13 wall to R43. Then it was on to the attic and the basement. In the attic, we air sealed all the gaps that the blower door test had shown us to keep the warm air in our house from leaking up into the attic, which had been causing ice dams, increased energy bills, and seriously reducing our comfort. Then we installed a radiant barrier in the attic to keep our house cooler in the summer. And finally, we blew in a bunch of cellulose made from recycled newspaper to bring the insulation value up to R76. In the basement, we used a simple system to insulate the concrete floor and foundation walls: moisture-blocking paint, a wood frame, and foam board. Then we simply created a new floor with painted plywood and new walls with sheetrock, and presto, a finished, comfortable space. Windows are invariably the weak link in any wall system. Our original windows were miserable, leaky, single pane with old storm windows that whistled on a windy winter day. We replaced them with triple pane, high-performance windows. The difference in comfort and energy performance is phenomenal. We've never experienced such high levels of comfort in any house before, ever. Warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer. The dramatically improved insulation levels mean that our home's interior surfaces are actually warmer in the winter, so we lose a lot less of our radiant energy to them. The conventional thinking is to stop insulating here. But if you go here, you get into a whole new zone of amazing comfort and almost non-existent energy bills. We also learned that with a very well insulated and draft-free house, it's really important to provide fresh air to the people living there. The myth for years had been to let the house breathe. But houses don't know how to breathe. They let in outside air not based on what people need, but on the outside temperature, wind conditions, and the amount and location of the air leaks around the house. The best idea is to build tight and ventilate right. We provided assured air quality for the house by simply upgrading our bath ventilation to a high-performance fan with a 24-hour timer. Now we all breathe fresher air, and it's easy to keep good relative humidity levels. And we get fewer colds and viruses. We're all healthier. Next, we did a bit of soul searching to look at ourselves and our behavior to see if there were any changes we could make to reduce our carbon pollution, to live more sustainably. We used a meter to go around the house and measure the electricity use of our appliances. We discovered that our clothes dryer used 6,000 watts, the equivalent of 600 10-watt light bulbs. So we unplugged it and gave it away. Hanging up our clothes on drying racks took a little while to get used to. It seemed like a hassle at first. Now it's just second nature. All of our other appliances are ENERGY STAR rated for high performance. Then we switched out all of our old incandescent light bulbs to new high-performance LED bulbs. We discovered that every energy-using product has two price tags, the purchase cost and the larger cost to power the product over its lifetime. LED bulbs are actually smarter and a lot cheaper than incandescents or compact fluorescents because they use a lot less energy and they last for many years. And finally, after cutting our energy use by more than half, we added the tools to allow us to produce our own clean energy, solar electric and solar hot water panels. The solar electric system provides almost twice the amount of electricity that our home uses. There's a rolling credit on our monthly account and we'll never pay another electric bill. The ground-mounted solar hot water system provides almost 70% of our annual hot water needs. And our ultra-low-flow shower head means we could theoretically take a 2-hour shower on 1 tank of solar hot water. As I was doing all this, I started to think about you. I thought about how I wanted to share this information to help you take control of your home's carbon footprint. So I started to take notes and snap a bunch of photos of our project so I could make this video for you. I wanted to show you what's possible. We ended up turning our home into a positive energy producer on a modest budget, and it wasn't that hard. In addition to the dramatic energy savings, we zeroed out our home's carbon footprint, improved our quality of life, and became the first renovated home in Massachusetts to produce more energy than we consume. And look at all of these other benefits that we get to enjoy. It's a win-win-win for our family, for the economy, and for the planet. Our project was a lesson in being bold, in not being afraid to try new things. And it's time for each of us to be bold and to take action now to address the climate crisis. Because frankly, we don't have a lot of time. So, use a carbon footprint calculator to measure your carbon pollution, and then do whatever you can to reduce it. Even if you can't do a full energy renovation on your house, do 1 or more of the 10 things we did, or do something completely different to reduce your carbon footprint. There are so many examples of great things that people are doing to be more sustainable, like Colin Beavan, who started the No Impact Man project to raise awareness about the benefits of personal carbon reductions, Marshall Saunders, who started the Citizens Climate Lobby to empower people to advocate for national policies to address climate change, and Annie Leonard, who created The Story of Stuff to motivate people to rethink their purchasing choices and build a healthier planet. And these are just a few examples. People just like you are doing extraordinary and inspiring things all around the world, and together are making big positive changes. You can be part of this, and you can make a difference. There are so many ways. Check it out. So, envision the future you want, and then get out there and do something to help make it happen. I look forward to seeing you on the path to a healthy and sustainable future.